All right, friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of fun things to do with all of you, so we're going to kick off with a tiny bit of housekeeping, and then we're going to jump into tons of wonderful content, great discussions, tips, strategies, ideas, and techniques to share with you. My name is Matthew Ferrara, and I am your host for today. I am looking forward to sharing the insights and expertise of so many wonderful guests, some of your peers and colleagues, and some wonderful leaders, both from MoxiWorks and from across Anywhere Real Estate and our brands. We want to take today's session and maximize your input and your interactivity as well. So a couple of things that will make that really easy for all of us. Number one, strongly recommend that you have the session in speaker view. So make sure in the view settings, you go to speaker view. You're going to have the screen nice and big because there's going to be some video clips. There's going to be some screenshots. You're going to want to see the wonderful smiling faces of our guests as we are having some panel conversations as well. So make sure that is there. Secondarily, I want you to make sure you know where the chat room is. If you're right near the your computer, you can chat right in there. We also have a couple of our specialists in the chat room. So if you have any technical questions about the broadcast that we're doing here today, you can ask for help there if you're having any problems with sight or sound. Also, if there are any particular personal questions, you can ask some questions about the platform in there, and we'll direct you to the right resources. I do want to mention today's a learning session. So we're focused on strategies, tips, techniques, and good ideas. There may be some topics we're not covering here today, but it doesn't mean we won't make sure to point you in the right direction for additional help. So keep your eye in the chat room. If you're asking for a technical support issue or something operational that we aren't focused on today, we will definitely point you in the right direction. So that is perfectly acceptable, but we may not cover everything that ends in the chat room. Also, we want to remind you that the session is recorded. Everyone will get a follow-up email with access to the recording through your brand intranet sites, and of course, a follow-up survey to let us know what you liked and what you would like more of as well. Super thrilled that over 530 of you are in today's session, over 900 signed up. We're excited that you're spending some time investing in yourself and making sure that you are maximizing the power of this really amazing platform. So let's get started here. We have so much to share with you. I'm going to share my screen and just talk a little bit about where we are going to go in our conversation around tips, tricks, and success strategies with the MoxiWorks platform. Again, my name is Matthew Ferrara. I've spent the past 31 years in professional development, and I'm so excited that all of you are having an opportunity to take advantage of the MoxiWorks platform as part of your brand and Anywhere's offerings to help you maximize your career and grow your business, delight your customers and clients, work better with your colleagues, and obviously create good outcomes for your companies as well. So kudos to all of you for making this happen, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you today to be able to host this conversation. We're going to meet a few more of our colleagues in just a moment here, but after that, we're going to do some interactivity. We're going to be talking about three specific aspects of the MoxiWorks platform: Moxi Present, Moxi Engage, and Moxi Websites, with some tips and some panel conversations of your colleagues who are successfully using the system to create growth and to create good outcomes. We'll have a masterminding session towards the end. We'll learn where you can continue to get more additional training in here. And please stay to the end, where we will share with you some additional resources that you can access right away to keep your investment in yourself and in your learning and development going. Now, with us on today's session are a number of really great, super smart people. I'm excited to be able to share their knowledge with you. I want to just have them wave into the camera as I introduce them. Amy Charoux, who is with the MoxiWorks engagement team. Brett Calthorpe, who's also with the MoxiWorks engagement team. And Angie Myers, who is with the Anywhere product marketing team. And Alex Castro, who's also with the Anywhere product marketing team. Plus, a whole bunch of special brand colleagues from across our Anywhere brands who are going to, on mini panels, share some ideas with all of you of how they're using it in the field, in the real world. So maybe all of our panelists could just give a little wave as well to all of our participants. Thank you all so much for being with us. Plus, we have a special guest at the end who's going to tell you how to learn even more. Our friend Christina Carlino, who you'll hear from as we get towards the end of the session. Now, before we begin, I thought it would be also helpful for you to have a little welcome message from the president, the CEO of MoxiWorks, York Bauer. So give me just a second here. I'm going to actually switch up my screen and make sure that we can hear York as we go. And let's just see what he's got to say to welcome us here today.
Hello, everyone. It's York Bauer, CEO of MoxiWorks here, coming to you from the intergalactic headquarters of MoxiWorks here in downtown Seattle, as you can see. I just wanted to add my welcome and say thank you for taking the time and making the effort to invest in yourselves, to invest in working on your business instead of only in your business, especially as we enter these coming more challenging times. I think it's a critical time for you to invest in yourselves as you're doing here. So you're going to hear a number of things today, including some great tips and tricks, and not just sort of superficial stuff. Remember that all of MoxiWorks was designed and built for agents like you to practice your craft and really focus on the relationships that power your business and how technology can help that. You'll also hear, of course, some case studies and some examples of how Moxi technologies have been put into practice elsewhere that I think you'll also find very helpful. So again, thank you very much for taking the time today, and I wish you all the best of success. Take care.
Cool. So a little quick message from the CEO of MoxiWorks, York Bauer, who will get a kick out of the fact that he was not able to be here with us live, but certainly wanted to make sure he greeted you and congratulated you for spending this time together. Let's have some fun just to kick off. I know many of you are not in front of a computer, so what we've done is made an accommodation to make it easy for you, everyone, to participate, whether you're hands-on at a computer or sitting in a watch party somewhere. Take out your smartphone. This is probably one of the few times in a webinar that we want you to use your smartphone, but not to be distracted. Instead, I'd love for you to point your camera at the QR code that you see on the screen here, or just open up your browser and go to menti.com and type in the code of the room we're going to be using, called 4948031. So again, just point your camera is the easiest way to do this. It'll pop open a browser for you. And when you do, just give me a little heart. I can see the hearts flowing in, which is great. And what I want you to do is I want you just to let me know when you've logged in. There are over 250 of you have logged in there already, which is awesome. And just keep going. Just keep pointing that camera. Now, I'm going to just switch screens here for a second, but you can keep logging in as you do it. Watch how cool this is. I can actually show all of you logging in. There you are. Wow, look at that. 390 plus. Doing this. So this is going to allow anybody to participate in some of our interactive pieces. And of course, yes, you can use the chat room if you're really close to your computer, but we wanted to maximize 576 people on the call here today, wanted to maximize everyone's ability to participate. Now, I'm going to give you a few more seconds with this, and then we're going to practice just to see how easy this is to use your phone to participate, as well as the Zoom environment if you want. So hold on now, just a few more seconds. We're at 520 or so. And I'm going to launch a question. And when I launch this question, my friends, it's going to change the screen on your phone so that you can participate by phone as we do some interactivity here. So let's get started, and don't worry, we'll come back to this a couple times so everyone will have a chance throughout the session. Here, I just want to do a real quick one. Where are you joining from here today? You should get a little box on your phone, and you should be able to, there you go, look at those flowing through our room right now. And just wanted to, again, this is a practice to show you how easy this is. And some of you are putting this in the Zoom chat room, and that's fine as well. We can see both of them. So in the Zoom room, we've got Little Valley and Visalia and Cameron, and we've got on screen here Boston and Knoxville, Miami, and gosh, is that Okemos? I'm not sure. I'm probably got bad pronunciation on that, but we're glad you're here no matter what. Knoxville and Lansing, got those right for sure. El Paso, Texas in the Zoom room, which is awesome. So that's one way we'll participate. Now here's Another one. Let's have a little more fun, my friends. Here's a second question we have for you, which is, what's one word that defines Moxie Works for you? When you think about your experience so far at Moxie Works or the potential it's bringing to you, what kind of words come to mind? Wow, look at these. Got money and value, productivity, CRM, resourceful, user-friendly. Thank you for that. Simplicity. Yes, that is definitely one of the words we are hoping to associate. We've got new beginnings and easier, and we've got confusing actually went in there. Okay, well, we want to make sure you know how to get all the help you need around so that it's not confusing and you can maximize it. Powerful, exciting, efficient. Fine is kind of cool too. Fine is often just fine. So that's all we need. All right. So again, time saver and hopeful, wonderful are also good words. Our goal is just to practice using the interactivity tool. So thank you all so much for that. And then at the same time, want, of course, to get this feedback from you as to what you've been thinking so far. Now, we'll be coming back to more interaction like that throughout the program. So thank you for playing along. But right now, just pay attention to your big screen again, because we've got some really cool learning to jump into here today. And we want to make sure that we have time for all of our wonderful participants. So coming up first off here, I'm going to swap screens once again with you. Coming up for our first presentation is my really good friend Angie Myers from the Anywhere Product Marketing team. She is a specialist, and she is going to be sharing with us some tips and tricks for Moxi Present. So I think you're really going to enjoy this. And again, this is just a quick little 5 or 6 minutes that will get your brain going on how to maximize Moxi Present. So I am going to invite Angie to take over for a few minutes. Welcome.
All righty, I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to jump right into Moxi Present. So here we are in Moxi Present. So I'm not going to show you how to create the presentation. I'm going to act like you already know how to do that. But what we're going to do is show you some tips and some tricks on things that you can do with the presentation once you've created it. So this, the screen that I'm in now, I'm in a listing presentation. I've added my CMA, and I've looked over here on the left-hand side, and there are a lot of pages, and some of them are not in the right order. So I might want to pop them out, and you'll see over here on the left-hand side on that bar, I can actually take them and I can move them around and put them into my narrative the way that I would actually deliver this. There might be something in here. I can click on it. It's going to pop it up over here on the screen. Maybe I don't need this particular page. I'm just going to X off of it and remove it. Now it's still in my original template. It's just not in this particular presentation. And again, you'll see how easy that is to remove them. I'm not going to go through adding and all of those, but you can add from the library. You can create new, add PDFs, build pages. Once I get this the way that I want it, the most efficient use of my time is I don't ever want to have to go in here and add and remove ever again. I want to fly in, grab this presentation, and run out the door if I need to. So I can actually save this as a template. Now I'm going to save this one as my Joppatown listing template. I do a lot of listings in Joppatown. I can just grab this and run, but you can see for any presentation, you can save these. Now it's going to show up under my templates. When I go into create new, other than brokerage templates, I'm going to have my own, and I can select it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And that's just going to be a little more efficient on your time. Again, it's going to be exactly the way you want it to be. If you're like me and you're a little more old school and you want to take something with you, I like to print the PDF out and leave it behind sometimes. So here I'm going to go through and I'm going to edit my cover page. Now I can give this a title. I can include or not include the information here. I can add an image of the property. I'm going to pretend like I did that drive-by. I took a picture on the street. I can upload that, or for time, because I've already uploaded it, I'm just going to add it from what was saved in the system. I can also add a custom date. Maybe if I'm going to leave 2 days from now and I need to print it out today, I can do that. And one thing that I love to show off is this PDF cover design. So you're able to go in and change the design of your PDF. You can go in and select something different, and there is no save button. You do have to hit the X. I like to showcase that because when I started with Moxi Present several years ago, where I was at the time, that wasn't an option. We went into support.moxiworks.com. We submitted tickets for a feature that we wanted to see. That was the feature we wanted. And now there are many options. So they are listening to you. If you don't see a feature, feel free to leave them some feedback. And probably last but not least, the big thing that I want to leave you with is what you can do with these presentations. So if I click the view button and I go into the web presentation, what I can do here is I can actually get to this live link. Now, why is this important for it to be a live link? So for those who aren't aware, I have included a short CMA here. And that just means if I click on this 2 days from now and Larkspur Drive is pending, it's going to show me that. If Ferguson is sold, it's going to show me that. This is a great option. It's not static. It is something that is fluid. It's going to update through your MLS. This is a live link. Some things that you can do with this link. You can actually text this link to your clients. Maybe you want to text them a pre-listing before you get there. I always like to text them after I've left to kind of follow up. Here's what we went over. If you have any questions, I am easily accessible to you. I've had several agents recently say they're sending them to appraisers because they can click here. They can get to all the pictures and all of the information that the listing agent had uploaded for these properties. We can also take this link, and maybe not for a listing, but if you've created one for your community, your team, why work with me, a newsletter, anything that you create that is a non-listing type, a custom presentation, I can go through, and you see here, I have some videos, different things that I have included in this presentation. I can take this link and I can share it on social media. This gives me good content. I'm in a Facebook group where I'm not allowed to talk real estate, but I can talk about my community. So I've been able to share it, and it has all my real estate information in it. I'm a licensed referral agent, so I've been able to get some referrals this way. You can also shorten this with a tiny URL or a bit.ly included in your Instagram bio, included on some of your bios for social media. Include the hyperlink. Maybe you want to hyperlink this in your email signature or in a Moxi Engage email signature. Sending out a campaign, maybe I want to add that to one of my campaigns. You're also able to hyperlink it, include it on your Moxi website, in a blog. I mean, I could go on all day about this. I know they're going to cut me off soon because I won't have time, but I love this option because it really showcases. And as soon as I have this created, all I have to do is use it. I don't have to go in and create it again and again. It's here for me in my library. So definitely it's going to showcase you as the area expert. One other thing I like to do, if I have a Joppatown listing, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, you know, I have this new listing in Joppatown. Are you not familiar with the community? Discover the details here, and I can add this link to my Facebook post. Here they have this great tactic from Moxi Impress, and they're seeing the property and they can access that, but then they can get information about the community. So again, these are just some ways that you can utilize this product to sell more homes, make more money, really just work more efficiently, and it's here to make you look super awesome.
Cool. All right. Great stuff, Angie. Just to recap, make sure I took some notes here. Number one, just before you're done at the end, you can rearrange your pages. And then if you like the arrangement of the pages, you can save it into a reusable template so you don't have to rearrange every time. Number two, if you're going to be printing your presentation, you can change up that cover photo. You can also change up that PDF before you print it. So love that. And I really think that you got this winning idea with using that link. That link not only is shareable through social, through email, through text, through anything, but the link makes it a live, it really brings it up together as a live a set of material. So anything that's changing in the status or features or prices of properties used in the presentation, that link is just going to pull it automatically. So essentially it creates a sort of always ready to go presentation. And then of course we just use our creative ideas as to how to socialize that. Thank you, Angie. Really appreciate that. I hope people have taken a lot of notes. Again, today's session are tips, tricks, techniques, little ideas. It's not a full training step by step. It's if you've mastered Present, have you thought of using it this way? Did you know you could do this? So little bits like that. But if you do have some specific questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat room, because we'll point you in the right directions for things we may not have in our specific list of things to cover here today. So thanks again, Angie, for that. Now, to continue this conversation, if you will, I'm going to just bring up a little slide and a couple of guests. So let's see here, get my slides back. We are going to do a little bit of real world use of Moxi Present, and we're going to hear some insights or strategies and tips from two of our special guests. Jim McNally from Century 21 Beggins Enterprises, and Deb Taylor from Coldwell Banker Wallace, who will be joining me on screen here as a little panel. So there they are, and I want to remind them to unmute their mics, and they're going to talk to us just a little bit about how they're using Present, or a technique, tip, or strategy that you could also duplicate yourself. So Jim, I'm going to just kick off with you, if we could. Tell us a little bit about how Present's working for you and a tip for our audience.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Moxi Present is a fantastic tool to stay in front of your clients, especially when you look at what's happening in real estate right now, and you look at how many agents there are coming into the market. You really need something that's going to bring you up to the next level. And I truly feel that Moxi Present, actually all of Moxi, will help allow you to bring you up to that next level. And for me, Moxi Present, and they all, like, one of the great things with Moxi is they all tie together very nicely. So one of the things that I'm going to kind of go in after what Angie was talking about, still getting out there, knocking on doors, but bringing presentations out. And, one of the things that we're doing, not only printing them, because some of those presentations can be very, very, very long if you're doing a CMA, is to kind of bring it down a little bit, bring out a few pages. What we're doing is adding a QR code to the very end. So as we drop it off to someone who may have been interested, they can scan the QR code. It goes to that website link of the presentation that they can look at, which is phenomenal. So that's something that's worked, very, very well for us. Another thing that we love to do is we love to farm and work our farms. And I know they're going to talk about groups when we get to Moxi Engage, but if you bring in a farm into Engage, and I make a, let's say, quarterly presentation digging into the numbers for our clients or potential clients in our farm, we can actually see if they're accessing the presentation to see what's going on. So it gives us that ability to, maybe I need to stop by their house, do a little bit more of a deep dive into those numbers for them, which is another fantastic tool that you can use. Another thing we've done, and it kind of ties into Angie when she was talking about making, a template for yourself. As a brokerage, we have these templates set up that are so easy and ready to go, and out of the box, a buyer and seller presentation that don't have anything to do with numbers, just a short, sweet, hey, these are the things that you can expect through our transaction of it buying or selling a home. And we actually will, like Angie said, talked about texting, saving that presentation is generic for all buyers, but who's getting something like that when you get off the phone? If I get off the phone with someone that was shopping on Zillow, they're talking to 25 other agents. If I send them a presentation that actually talks to them about what to expect in the experience of buying a property, it's going to really keep me top of mind for them. And then finally, one of the things I think that Moxi really brings into the customizability, but video is so key to staying top of mind. And it is so easy to add a video to a presentation. So as you're sending out that fantastic CMA, like, hey, you know what? Hey, Matthew, I'm so excited that we get to meet tomorrow so I can preview your property. I'm so stoked that you're thinking that you're motivated, you're moving here, you're doing this. A very professional, but very specific video that ties directly to them. If they're interviewing 10 other agents, they're not getting anything like that. So those are some of the key points for me with Moxi Present. It just gives you that beautiful, professional, top of mind mentality for all these people that you could be talking to.
Jim, I love those ideas. And, I especially love the fact that you're taking advantage of Moxi Present's ability to create any kind of presentation. So not just a CMA or listing presentation, and not just a buyer tour or buyer presentation, but a value proposition presentation, which is what you were talking about when you talk about your company. And, Angie was talking about neighborhood and community presentations. Your newsletter can be in a presentation. So I really love that you're reminding us that basically we can click and create any kind of non-property related presentation, and then it's just our creativity is the limit. And then adding in video, or adding in a QR code, or adding in our own images of something. They might even be charts or market graphs, something about what's happening in the news. It could be an aerial or a map or something like that. So what I really love is how you're pushing us to think beyond just doing a CMA and saying it's called Moxi Present. What do I want to present? And then how do I present it, right? I get it in there. I get it electronic. I've seen a lot of questions in the chat room about, well, can I save it and can I share it? One nice aspect is that companies can make some of these presentations and then cascade them down, share them down to others. So that's another way in which you can extend one presentation that the whole office could take advantage of. And then that quick reusability, which is kind of nice. So thank you so much for pushing us to think beyond just the standard everyday listing and property presentations, and really using Present to be creative. So appreciate your thoughts on that, Jim. Deb Taylor, Coldwell Banker Wallace, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Present and how that has worked out for you, and also some tips for our audience.
Sure. What I am looking at is to keep things simple. And Moxi Works has so much stuff inside of it. All I keep hearing is how overwhelmed people are. So what I wanted to do was just pick one simple thing to talk about that we're finally are really getting some success with. What that is the property review. So do you remember the old-fashioned call nights? Well, we're still doing them, but Moxi is really helping our affiliates take it to the next level here by giving their sphere information that is completely different than where you can go on Zillow or one of those other places and pop in your address and get stuff that's really just like pre-packaged for you. So what that listing presentation is, if you haven't looked at it before, it's something that's super simple and quick to create. So we'll have them all get in the training room and pull up their Moxi Works. It takes about 15 minutes. And what this is really is just a stripped down version of that seller presentation. None of the stuff about the brand, the brokerage, marketing. It's just plain old, here's what your house is worth. What I love also, and the agents are really loving, one is that you can do comps right inside of Moxi, the presentation. But what I also love is that same comp tool is the same thing on the website. It's the same thing on Engage. And it just makes it so much simpler. But also, if you're just one of those agents who doesn't want to dig into that, you can certainly go pull it from the numbers from the MLS, the comps, and then put it in there manually. So here, if it's okay with you, here's what we do. We have them reach out to their customers, and the meat of the conversation is going to be that they're working on a special project that they're hoping to make a regular event, and they wanted to give the person a call to let them know that he's getting a lot of questions about home prices, the questions about what their home is worth. Our market hasn't changed like it has everywhere, but it's certainly quickly changing here. And this is going to be more important as we go along. So do these in small batches, get that going, but worked out for them. But if you're going to, while you have them on the phone, what you need to also say is that if you're going to be around on Friday, I'm going to check in with you to make sure you got this presentation. See if you have any questions. Click around on that presentation because it's interactive and it's live, and what is today may be different next week. So let's talk sooner than later. And you might be surprised by what your house is worth, even if you're not considering selling right now. And of course, always ask for the business. If you know anyone else who thinks that they might need a report like this, go ahead and let me know. So more and more as this market turns, if you're sending this out regularly, I think people are going to turn to you as the trusted advisor and the source of information. One of the reasons we chose this was because as a point of contact for our spheres is that even though this is a seller's market, a recent survey that we have said that nearly half of American homeowners, 46%, are unsure of what their house is worth, but they would like to know. Another survey says that 20% of homeowners say they plan to sell their home in the next 12 months. Hopefully, with this kind of information, proactive information that you send out, they're going to turn to you. So the first time we did this, we actually had one agent, by sending this out, got 2 closings or 2 listings as a result of this. So I'd say, depending on the size of your sphere, you can do this annually, twice a year, quarterly, whatever, but it's a great way to give that personalized touch for each member of your sphere. Since this isn't a general market report, this is a report about their home. And I'd encourage you to use Moxi Present for more than just a seller presentation. Use it proactively to create your own listing opportunities.
I love it. It's such a good tip, Deb, because that annual or half a year, or even quarterly check-in with them, we know we should be in contact with them. We know our sphere likes to hear from us. They enjoyed working with us. And this is really the perfect opening for those conversations. Everybody wants to know how their home value is doing, how their neighborhood is doing, whether it's, going up, going down, staying flat, whatever it is. That's the barbecue question, right? That's what everyone's always talking about when they're at a barbecue in their neighborhood or with family or with their realtor. And what a great way to provide that. And as you mentioned, which again is just so powerful about Moxi Present, the report is live. So once you get that report to them, if they open it today, they open it next month, they open it 8 weeks from now, it gives them the latest information. And then again, they could reach out and say, what's happening? Things are going up, things are changing, whatever they happen to be. So because Moxi Present and all of the MoxiWorks platform is designed around a real estate agent's life, we know that property reviews are one of those classic sphere of influence relationship management tools. So it's really been built right into the presentation environment. So Deb, thank you so much for sharing that. We super appreciate that cool tip and story. I'm just curious, for those of you who are on today's session, if you have done a property review, maybe you want to go to the reactions button and just press a green check mark if you've tried the property review button, or if you've even just made a non-CMA, non-listing presentation, give me a little green check mark there. So I know we're always doing lots of CMAs, and that's important, right? Because if we want to get more inventory, we got to be presenting, but it's Moxi Present. Lots of things that we can present with it. So far I've got like 27, 28, almost 30 people who are just very quickly saying that they have used beyond just a property-based presentation. So good stuff. Some great learning from Angie, some great tips from our colleagues who are out there in the field. Let's keep learning together now. I'm going to invite my friend Brett Calthop next to talk to us about Moxi Engage. So if Moxi Present can set us up to communicate important messages, whether it's the value of a current home, whether it's the market situation or anything else, then to whom we communicate that and how we stay organized with them is a question of staying engaged and your database at the heart of your business. So I'm going to stop sharing and turn my control over to Brett for a couple of minutes, who will teach us a couple of quick ideas about Moxi Engage. Brett?
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Brett Calthorpe here. I'm Director of Agent Development and Engagement at MoxiWorks. And so I'm going to talk about neighborhood news. Neighborhood news is absolutely one of my favorite features of Moxi Engage. And what I want to start with is, you can see right here, this is the screen of how that neighborhood news page would look on your website. So when you actually launch and have a website engaged, this is the way this form's going to look. And you can see it's very simple. First name, last name, email, zip code. Once that happens and they hit sign up, then it automatically creates a contact to go straight into Moxi Engage, which I'll talk about in a minute. But what I want to share today is some other ways to use neighborhood news beyond just having it on your website and having it, as a full-featured lead gen tool as part of your marketing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a different screen now, and I'm going to go over into Moxi Engage. And so when I go to Moxi Engage, you're going to see that I am on my dashboard. So let me just go ahead and share that right now. 1 second. There we are. So you can see here, I'm on my dashboard. Now, the way that you want to find out how can I use this neighborhood news link in Moxi Engage is over here where there's this sprocket or cog. What this does is you're going to click on your Engage settings. Okay, so if I click that, I'm just going to scroll to the next page to save us a little bit of time. And this is the first thing you're going to see is I'm in my preferences section for Moxi Engage. Now, one of the first things that I suggest you do is you can see right down here, neighborhood news automatic sign up. If this is not checked on, I highly suggest that you do it, because basically what this means is that if you get a new lead that's sent in with a valid email that pertains to a listing, you're actually automatically going to sign that person up for neighborhood news. So you don't have to do anything to do it, right? Because part of the wonders of Moxi Engage and how it can help your business is things like automation. It's going to save you time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down here under subscriptions. So you're going to see neighborhood news. Now, once I'm down there, you can see we have a couple different options. Number one is we can edit the message that goes out once we've put somebody on a neighborhood news. I've just got mine here, but this is a great place to come in and kind of make it more you, make it a little bit less like, thank you for signing up for my email list, right? So you can talk about what neighborhood news is. You can talk a little bit about your team and how you work with folks, right? So great opportunity that as soon as somebody inquires, they're getting a nice, somewhat more personalized message from you. The second thing that you could do is going ahead and clicking on this sign up link. So if I click on sign up link, you'll see that it gives me this link. And now this link I can do a couple of different things with. Number one, I can share it anywhere I want to on Facebook or a social media post or whatever. So that way, anytime you're doing a property ad, I mean, yes, sometimes you're going to want to send them to, hey, find out about this listing. But what if I'm advertising myself as far as the services I provide? Or what if I'm more specialized with buyers? I can say, hey, we've just sold this beautiful property. I'm really happy for my buyers. If you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, click this link, right? And as soon as they click this link, what do they end up on? Well, they end up on a page that looks like this. Now, does this look familiar, right? So you can see that it's very similar. It's got my contact info at the top. And then all we need to get is that first name, last name, email address, and zip code. They can click sign up now. And now they've come into my chat, or pardon me, they've come into my Engage as a contact. Sorry, I'm seeing the chat bubble and the ADD is going off. So wonderful way that you can have that. So anywhere you're sharing links, great way to drive people to your website and then drive people to neighborhood news and drive them into Moxi Engage. Now, another way that you can use this link, and one of the first tips I tell people when they get Moxi Present is go ahead and create a page that you can use multiple times. That is the neighborhood news sign up. Now, why is this important? Well, let's pretend that I meet you at an open house and we're talking and everything is great. And I say, you know what, tell you what, let me send you some information real quick. Just give me your cell phone number. Oh, okay. You send them a text message with a link to your buyer presentation, or perhaps just to your marketing presentation that says, hey, here's why you want to work with me. Here's what I've done. Here's why I know these neighborhoods. Well, then at the end of that, you can create a page or wherever you want to have it where they can sign up to neighborhood news from Moxi Present. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this link right here. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to go to my Moxi Present. You can see it right here. And I'm just going to click on the pencil here next to this presentation, which I created before. And when I pull it up, all I need to do to create this neighborhood news sign up while it's loading, all I need to do is basically 3 steps. And number one, let me just show you a different way here. Let me see one more time. All righty. So number one, add page. We're going to create from new. We're going to build it. Okay. So now the option I like to use is just the blank over here on the left. Once I hit create, now all I need to do is click on more. You can see that I can add in text or image or video here, but I'm going to click more. And then one of the buttons you're going to see is the ability to add iframe. Okay, so you click on iframe, put in the URL, and then what I usually put in is 1200 by 1200. You could try different ones to see how it works, but that's one I found works pretty well. I hit OK. Now the last step that I do, just because I'm a little bit, particular, is I click on the iframe and I just make sure it's centered. Okay. All I have to do now is hit save, and I'm going to call this in sign up. Okay. Now what's cool about this is you can see that I'm saving it to my pages. Now, why is that important? Well, because once I make it once, I have that page in my library and I can use it again and again. So this is what it looks like here for neighborhood news sign up. If I click on view my presentation, you can see that it's doing that creation, that recalculation. And as I scroll down, you can see that it shows up right here in my presentation. It's interactive where they can sign up from my presentation. So if I'm sending especially a buyer tour, but even for a seller's presentation, I make sure that I have that as part of my pages. Now, as I mentioned, if I go back to present, if I wanted to add a page, let's pretend I'm doing a new presentation, or even I'm working on a CMA and I want to add a page to it. If I click on add from library and click on my pages, you will see it saved right up here at the top. And in sign up, that's the one I made yesterday, or today. Neighborhood news sign up is the one I made yesterday. So now I only have to do that step one time, and I have that page available to use in any of the neighborhood news or any of the Moxi presentations that I create. So we have found again and again that agents who just upload their contacts into Engage and then put these contacts on neighborhood news, we find again and again that they do at least 1 to 2 extra deals just from that, because it's interactive. You're not sending them something stagnant. You're not sending them a graphic from the board that perhaps 100 other agents are using. You're sending them something detailed to them that they can change the zip code, they can pull up stats, and it's just a wonderful tool. So that's my favorite thing to show off about Moxi Engage. And so I will turn it back to you, Mr. Ferrara.
Thank you, Brett. I absolutely love that tip. First of all, I just love the reminder that neighborhood news, quick, easy, name, email, zip code, system's going to keep sending them content, keeping them in flow with you. Love the idea of sharing the sign up link in social media or, on my signature file. And then, of course, bringing it back to present, which highlights the fact that all these products are designed to be one environment, one platform, everything together. So whether you're working your database and need a communication tool, or working your communication tools and you're adding people to your database, it's really the same flow. Thank you so much for that. I think a lot of people took a lot of notes. I saw some great thoughts in the chat room going on. Now, once again, bringing this home for us in the real world use of Moxi Engage, we've got 2 of your colleagues who are going to share some ideas with us. We have from Better Homes and Gardens Universal, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Universal, got to get that right, Michelle Ayala is with us, and Sasha Vermel from ERA Lambros Real Estate. We're going to get them into a little panel discussion here, and I'm going to actually welcome them. Glad you're here. Thank you. And I'm going to ask Michelle to just kick us off with her best tips or tricks around Moxi Engage. And I believe we have an image that will go along with this conversation right here as well. Michelle, thanks for being with us. What can you share with our audience?
Thank you for having me, Matthew. That was some powerful stuff that Brett just shared with us with Moxi Engage. And I've known Brett for about 5 years, and he always focuses on monetizing your business. And so I'm excited to talk about monetizing your time. And what that means is as independent contractors, we want to put a bunch of time into our business, right? But by the time you average it all out and get your return, it should not end up being minimum wage. So Moxi Engage actually has productivity tools in place to save you time and make you money. So that is the whole purpose of this. And I'm about to get real basic. I think that you've seen some high level stuff, but this is going right to the origin. And when I say real basic, I'm talking basic like your business plan basic. So the first thing that Moxi Engage is going to ask you for is your GCI goal. And your GCI goal, you should know that. You should know that because you set that in your business plan. And if you haven't done your business plan yet, you haven't determined who you are as a business or where you're going, you need to do some work. So before you do any Moxi Engage, do your business plan, get that GCI number, because that's super important. But the very first thing that you need to do, besides that, is get your sphere of influence together. So I'm going to liken Moxi Engage to that old TV show, Knight Rider. Remember Knight Rider? I'm showing my age. You got, yeah, Matthew knows Knight Rider. Okay. So Michael Knight had this really cool car. His name was Kit. Kit could talk to him, right? And Kit did all this cool stuff. So it's like your brand gave you your very own Kit. Okay. Now, did Michael Knight leave Kit in the garage without any gas? No, he filled Kit up with gas. Kit got to go around town with Michael. They got to solve crimes together and all kinds of cool stuff, right? You need to put your sphere of influence in your CRM for it to work. And you need to continue putting new people in every single day, new leads in. That's why Brett's talking about leads, right? Because you want to stay in business. If you stop, you're not going to feel it right now. You're going to feel it 3 months down the road. So keep filling up your leads pipeline. So that's the gas in your car. But Kit wasn't a normal car, was it? Kit was a really cool car. And Michael Knight could flip those red switches. And when he did that, you got turbo boost. Setting your GCI goal is like that turbo boost, because Moxi Engage is going to give you the tools to get you to that destination. It's going to give you best practices. It's going to give you tasks. How can you take advantage of that? Use the categorize tool. That means you're going to tell the system what each of these people are, who they are to you. Maybe you don't know if they're going to be a buyer or a seller. You just want to market to them. You can tell the system that, and it's easy as a click. They're a buyer, they're a seller. And each time you have a different set of tasks that go along with it. And it's not the system telling you what to do. It's based on best practices. So there's a real good chance you're doing it anyway. But if there's something special you want to do, you can actually tell that categorized tool that you want to change some of the things, and it will keep it in there for you. So whether you're a brand new person with 30 contacts, or you're a seasoned vet with 3,000 contacts plus, that means every single person in your database is going to get the same great, consistent treatment from you. You're going to provide quality content. You're going to be consistent. You're not going to let anybody slip through the cracks. So when I gave this slide, and I actually made a flyer to go along with it that gets a little more specific, we were given this quote as product champions for our offices by our brands. And it says, in a study done on 2020 productivity, agents who fully utilized Moxi Engage saw 64% more transactions on average than their peers without Moxi Engage. Now, I know Brett, he's not going to be part of some company that's going to just spin its wheels. 64% more, I want 64% more business. How can I do that? Fully utilize. If you don't fully utilize it, you're leaving this really cool car in the garage, right? So stay relevant, keep the follow-up, be automated. This is going to get you there more efficiently because it's respecting your time and it's keeping you in contact with valuable content. Okay, I guess that's my time.
Cool. Cool. Thank you, Michelle. I mean, I appreciate that is great motivation for us. It reminds us of the purpose of doing all of this, and especially love the idea that the tool's not going to help us if we don't fill it, right? And the gas for us are our contacts, getting our contacts in that system, and then using the plan, setting the income goals, and following the flow every day. So great suggestions. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Next, I want to ask Sasha to talk to us also about how Engage is making a difference for her. And then I'm going to actually just pause the screen for a moment, because I also know that Sasha's brought a little video clip for us as well at the end of our conversation. So tell us a little bit about your best practices in Engage, Sasha.
Absolutely. So I want to know how many people that are watching today would like to have an email marketing tool that's going to get them an 80% open rate and an over 20% click rate. And how many of you know what your open rate and what your click rates are right now for the things that you're sending out there?
Probably not many, right?
Probably not many.
Yeah.
So I'm a data person and I want feedback. And what I love most about Moxi is that I get feedback on what's working. So I have sent out not quite 1,000, but almost 1,000 automated emails in the last 5 months. And then I go back to my data and I see what those results look like. So for me, I'm getting an open rate at over 50% for campaign, e-blasts, and neighborhood news emails. But the thing that stands out for me that I want to share with all of you is that if you want the most bang for your buck, you should be using neighborhood news. Clients that I'm sending out neighborhood news to are opening those emails at an 80% rate, and they are clicking on those at 22%. Now, I want to look like I'm an expert in my business. And if you haven't used neighborhood news, what you should know is that it is giving out statistics to your clients that are specialized to their zip code, their county, their city, and they make you look like you're an expert and you're gathering this data for them. So what's even better is every time they click on it, and what I will say is that my clients who are appreciating it, they're not just opening it once. I have clients who are going back and reopening that message 2 and 3 times over the course of the month. And so it's a dynamic document, and as new listings go on sale and others are sold, every time they open that link, it's going to look different. So talk about things that add value to your business. I feel like this is the #1 thing that is so easy that all of you should be looking at. One other thing I'm just going to go ahead and mention before I go ahead and roll the video and show you exactly how that easy that is I love how each of these systems in Moxi is integrated with everything else. So once again, I'm here for the feedback. So one thing I love is that I'll use Moxi Present to create a presentation. And then every time that client goes back and looks at that presentation, I'm getting that feedback. If I have sellers on the fence, they open that presentation 2 months later, and I know that I need to be calling them. So please use these tools because they really will enhance your business. So I'm going to go ahead.
I was going to say, just before we play your video, I just want to emphasize what you've already suggested to us. The fact that neighborhood news has such a high open rate, right? And the correlation to the fact that it's specific to the individual recipient because it's their neighborhood. It's based around their property. So that drives their interest. It drives their willingness to open it, click through it, and play with it. One of the questions in the chat room was, does everybody get neighborhood news, even closed clients? And I'm sure you'd agree, everybody gets neighborhood news. Prospects, current, long time past, just general sphere of influence, right? Because everybody wants to know what's going on in their neighborhood, right? What's happening in their property value and their marketplace.
Absolutely. And I think that, first of all, everyone likes to look at properties. And so this gives you pretty listings to look at. And then on top of that, everyone's wondering what's going on in the housing market right now.
Right.
I mean, I know that everyone I talk to, that's the question that they ask me. So this is the answer to that question, that you're going out and telling everyone, I'm the expert at knowing what's going on in your particular market today. So
Cool.
I'm going to go ahead and give a 1:30 demo on how easy this is to add to your clients.
All right, let me get that slide up here for you, which is the next one. And as we play it, you'll just give us a little narration. So everybody pay careful attention to what is coming up next here on how to leverage neighborhood news. And
Excellent.
here we go.
So I'm going to go ahead and click on the name, click on the person. And then if you scroll down, you'll get to subscriptions, add subscription. And I'm going to choose neighborhood news. I like to do custom because most of my clients aren't by zip code, they're by city or by county, or there's also a multi-draw tool, so you can go ahead and draw that. So I've chosen Missoula County, bam, it's already collected. Here's the thing, you have to unclick categories that don't fit them. Most people, they're specific. They either want a home or they want a multifamily home, they don't want both. So I'd go ahead and limit those down. And then edit your bedroom and bath. I'm going to say 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. That's going to limit down your list a little bit more. And then you can categorize it by price. So someone who's looking in $500,000 isn't going to get $1 million home. So I'm giving max of 700, minimum of 550. And that just pares our list down a little bit about which listings we're going to go. And then just hit next. And that's going to automatically generate this report. So I'm scrolling down, they'll see listings, they'll see what the search is, they'll see the market changes over the past 12 months, how many listings are current, how many have sold, and what the median prices are for both listed homes and just sold homes. And at the bottom, they'll have a special place where they can reach out to you and ask you questions and send. How many of you have 90 seconds to get a report that's going to send out every single month with current data? So in my opinion, if you're going to start out on this, you should be using neighborhood news.
And it should go to everybody in your sphere, right? So
Absolutely.
Great suggestion. Thank you for the walkthrough. Thank you for the suggestion and the power of neighborhood news. Special thanks, Michelle and Sasha, for these latest real world tips. Really appreciate you being with us. Okay, let's take a breather, everyone, here for a second. Here's what I'd love for you to do. I'd love for you to, if you're near your Zoom interface right now, this is just a Zoom activity. If you have learned at least one thing that's going to make you a little bit more effective, efficient, productive with MoxiWorks, give me a thumbs up. You can look into the camera, you can wave at us, you can use the reaction bar to give us a thumbs up. I just want to actually just get some fun screenshots of everybody having fun here as well. So, you know, the cool part about this product is that there are so many tools and techniques that are basically amenable to your style, to your business plan. You can adjust them. The way Michelle approaches it, the way Sasha approaches it, the ideas that Jim gave us, that Deb gave us. You can take these techniques and mold them to what matters to your sphere, your business style, your marketplace, and obviously innovate yourself. Maybe you'll be on one of our future sessions with a tip, trick, or strategy. But even if you're not on our session, share them with your colleagues, share them at your office meetings, share them with your manager, share them with others in your brand, because it will give you an opportunity to make sure that, you know, we all benefit from some of the features that are all there, but not always right at the top of our mind until we hear someone else innovatively using them. Now, because Moxi Engage is just so chock full of great stuff, believe it or not, we actually have a second panel for you on Moxi Engage. We have brought together two more great colleagues of yours who will share with you, again, ways in which they're using the system to creatively improve. And so I'm going to now ask our team to spotlight from Coldwell Banker Lewis and Associates, Christina Sparks, and from ERA Wilder Real Estate, Rhonda Douglas. So thank you both for being with us. Super excited to have you here. And I'm going to now ask, let's have Christina kick us off this time with her thoughts on how Moxi Engage can make a difference.
Hey, Matthew, thanks for having me.
We're super
I just
excited
have
you're
to
here.
say, yeah, I just want to say the neighborhood news is fantastic, and the amount of people that open it is amazing. Anyways, I want to talk about Engage as far as groups within Engage. It's essentially tags that you can put on a client. whether it's a past client, whether they're assigned to your newsletter, whether they're in a farm area, whether they're looking in a certain area. It's unlimited to what you can do as far as groups. And the best part of it is that when you pull up a client, all you need to do is scroll down, look at those groups, and you're instantly, you know who you're dealing with. It's easier. It makes it faster to follow up. It's amazing.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about how you're constructing, using, and I know you've got some screenshots here for us. Let me pull up the first one. Maybe this will help you a little bit to walk us through.
Yeah, so I did kind of set up how to do it. And on those first two screenshots, you go to my people, and then you can see that there's a little edit groups. Yeah, right there. And you can add them as you go. So if you have a new farm, you can add that new group so that you can assign clients to it. I like to use these groups also for creating labels. You know, if you have a farm and you want to send out a newsletter or a market update to a certain area, you can export this into labels and then send it out. Makes it super easy to stay in touch.
So groups are essentially these sort of mental clusters of our sphere of influence, right? All our buyers, all of our investors, all of our landlords, all of our past clients of some kind. We basically are slicing our database into relevant relational groups so that our messaging can be specific to them, and we can take activities for these groups in smaller chunks than just sending everybody everything.
Exactly. You're zoning in on your client. You're not casting a huge net. You're giving them what they want and reaching out to them in a way that matters to them.
Right. Because relevancy is what's going to get them to open, whether it's neighborhood news or even just an email, right? I mean, we want to make sure that the message makes sense to them. And I think that that's where you went with your suggestion here too, right? Which is when it comes to doing an email, really leveraging groups is going to be a massive time saver.
Yeah, type in your group name, type your email, and it sends to everybody within that group.
So the cool part about this is that I actually could have a core message and then maybe tailor the beginning, tailor the ending a little bit, right? I could take some content from the brand. Maybe the brand has some updated weekly content, and then I can use that as the middle of the message, but I can change this up, whether I'm talking to past clients, whether I'm talking to first-time buyers, whether I'm talking to move-up buyers, something like that.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. It's magical. It really is. It makes everything clean and organized and gets everything out of here so that when you pull up that client, it's all right there in front of you.
I love it. Christina, let me ask you two quick questions about how many groups are you working with so it doesn't become too complicated, but enough to make sense for your business?
I would say about 15 to 20.
Okay.
I mean, and that's including past client group, a sphere. You know, I like to put where I got my clients as well, whether it was an expired, whether it was a FSBO, whether it was from my sphere. So I like to keep that organized, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So 15 to 20 is, I mean, a very high level of detail, which I think is important. We want to make sure we take the time, because one of the powerful things about Engage is that we don't need to have 10,000 people in there, right? We need to have a sphere of influence that we know a lot about, 300, 400, 500 that we know deeply about, and then we can be more relevant too, which is good. The other question I would have around your groups, right, is you mentioned that you also use them not just for emails. So what are other ways that groups help you do your business better?
Even like I do past client contact a couple times a year. So I will filter through my past clients, export it into a label format and send them out a gift or a postcard, whatever it is, that several times a year.
Cool. So we could basically use this for any form of contact, online, offline, even just a call list if we wanted to basically flip through them a couple people a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome. Really appreciate this tip. It's simple but powerful and so necessary if we want to keep our database healthy and to use it effectively and to target our messaging and our value conversations with our database. Thank you, Christina. Really appreciate that. All right, cool. So next up, Rhonda, I would love for you to share with us a little bit more on groups, because groups are so powerful. You're using them a little bit differently as well. Again, this is one of the powerful aspects of the Moxi products, is that they are, you know, malleable to each of our styles. Tell us what's happening with groups and Engage and you. Oh, Rhonda, I think you're still on mute. There you go.
First, I'm going to say that when I started as a realtor, I almost thought about quitting because I was overwhelmed with technology and having to learn so many things I wasn't used to. So I had used one CRM before, Moxi. And when this one came around, I found it very intuitive and actually fairly simple to learn. And I thought that was really important because I know that there's a lot of people who are averse to learning new things. And this one, if you just bite off a little bit at a time, you can eventually see what it can do. And then you can say, how does that fit me? Because I'm unique from, you know, another realtor out there. And that's what we've tried to do in our branding, is to say, how am I different than they are? So I have always been, I started without a lot of sphere to work with. So that was one of my challenges overall. But we had Moxi like last March, I think. So we had a lot of time to work on it. And we actually helped work out a lot of the bugs that were there. And Moxi was great in actually digging into things and making things better. So I really respect that about them. So when I was getting ready to do my new 2022 business plan and looking at it and saying, what do I focus on? Where am I really most effective? And it really came down to a couple of things. It was spheres. You know, my local farm that I have. And it was also my ability to get out and network and to learn how to create relationships for referrals. So that was another element that I was really working on hard this year. And in doing so, I had this aha moment where it was like, oh, Moxi can really help me do this. I already was sending out a newsletter every 30 days to my community, which was a one-line CMA just from the MLS to say, this is what's going on. And then to say, hey, did you know this about real estate? 1 month might be, you know, you see active, contingent, pending. What do these things mean? What do we see going on in the marketplace? Why are some houses now dropping their prices? What is the importance of pricing appropriately on the front end? Just so it was things that were of interest to them. It wasn't me saying, hey, come use me right now, this moment. It was like, hey, here's your thing. It's got everything, like how much per square foot. You can figure out, okay, that house is kind of like mine. And they took it very personally. And then I got very involved in the community. So it's a layer. But then I said, okay, so I went to our national conference. At our national conference, I met a lot of realtors from around the country who now we can recognize each other's faces. So I put them all in under that. And so every 4 months, I'll send something out to them and say, hey, you know, this is what we're seeing. What are you seeing? And you get engagement back. I have a group which is people who deal with seniors. And they are not realtors. They're everything else. Every time I go to a meeting, I meet people. I have something I can send back out to them. I can say, hey, maybe this will help you when you're dealing with your people. And they're all worried about, oh my gosh, you know, our people are so sad or can't figure out they want to move. Or to just say, hey, you got to be at the meeting on Tuesday. And so everything is very authentic. I don't do canned things very well, because people expect a certain level of this is really me, and they know how I write. So I'm using it that way. And since I started adding in other realtors and partners that were not, just since really, I would say March, I've gotten 2 referrals just based on, I wouldn't have known these people had I not been there. As far as my community goes, you know, I can get it out there. I only send it to those people I really know, or people who will say, hey, my husband gets it from you. I don't, can I get it too? Or somebody to say, my neighbor gets it. Can I get it too? So that I can kind of work with those people and they know that they are a select set of maybe only 25% of the community. So you can use it very creatively and make people feel special. When we give out our loyalty supporting local businesses at rewards, I can basically say, hey, I stopped in and I got that free whatever, and it was awesome. This is why you should go. This is the thing you should order. And here's some pictures from the place. So I think it gives me a chance to go to all these groups very consistently, to touch a whole lot of people, and to really streamline my business so I can focus on how do I keep moving it forward. And I have 12 groups right now. I expect that to go to maybe 16, and I'll cut it off at that because otherwise you have too much. Okay, so a couple things. Go through your people's list every once in a while, all my people, and it'll show you what groups they're in. You might have people in the wrong group. You don't want that. So you want to be editing that every once in a while, maybe quarterly, and then see, oh no, they're not in the group they need to be in. So I think that's really critical. And then do you want me to show how to do a batch? Do we have time?
We don't, but I've already written down like 5 good ideas from you. So I don't think anyone will think you haven't added some great ideas to us here, Rhonda.
Anyway, I am a big fan of Moxi and have been from the beginning. And, you know, you have to play with it and you have to say, what fits me and how do I make that work, and not worry about everything else.
So let me see. Update your groups regularly. Love that idea. Think beyond buyers and sellers, right? Get your sphere in there, your other realtors, members of your brand, members you meet at different conferences. Communicate with them, stay in contact, generate referrals, right? As well as listing and buyer leads. And then, of course, keeping it authentic in those emails. So where Christina showed us how to make those emails, important tip from Rhonda is don't just use canned content. Make sure that you're sending a message that's personal, sounds like you, feels like you, and people can hear your voice. So thank you for that.
I get a ton of engagement back on everything that I do. So it's working.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Christina. Really appreciate both of your real world tips. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you. I have pages of notes here and I know all these people and I knew what they were going to say and I'm still taking notes. So I hope you are all as well. We've got about 15 more minutes on our scheduled program here, but we've got plenty to do with you. So we're not going to wait any longer for our next piece. Let me quickly introduce my really good friend here, Amy Charoux from the MoxiWorks engagement team. She is going to tell you about a very simple but powerful aspect of Moxi websites where you can build blog posts faster and easier than you can imagine to really enhance that environment and the ability to generate interest and new business. So Amy, let me turn it right over to you with no further delay.
Matt, can you see my screen? We're good? Yeah? Okay. Well, first of all, hi, everybody. It's really great seeing so many familiar faces today. I'm talking to you about MoxiWorks websites, but creating blog posts. First of all, I want you to notice I have 2 slides we're going to go through, and then I'm going to go live with you. I actually used Present to do my slides today. You'll notice I'm right within my Present software and I'm presenting from there. Get used to start doing that. Put all your PowerPoints in Present. It also gives you a little panache and a way to connect with people. So a powerful website is critical to your business. How do you leverage the website to help people find it? You can drive people to your website by sharing knowledge. How? By creating blog posts. Remember, each blog post has its own link, which you can share in email, in text, and on social media. Every time someone clicks that link, they end up on your website. And after reading the content, they may look for homes, they might sign up for neighborhood news, and you will capture their email address. Now, I can hear your groans from here. No one has time to do blog posts. No worries. I'm going to give you a few easy ways to generate and create content that people will enjoy receiving. Now, first, very important, there is a quick and easy test to see if you should hit send on a piece of marketing that you send out through a blog post. If you're a client and your agent sent you what you're about to send, what would you do with it? Would you be like, wow, I'm informed, this is engaging, or would you hit trash? Think about it. Be very careful about what you send out to your clients, because when you send content out, you're delivering you to the masses of people. You're building relationships. You're providing value. Make sure it's valuable and drive people back to your website by your blog post links. So let me share another one little slide, and then I'm going to go live. Love my little present here. Couple pro tips, 3 ways to get posts. First, crowdsource your networks. Hey, everybody, I have a new website. I want to start sharing knowledge. What do you want to hear about from me? Put it on your social media sites. Ask people, email, put it in your newsletter. Gather ideas. Number 2, you all belong to amazing Anywhere brands. Because you belong to the brand, every piece of content on their sites is yours. Use it, leverage it. There's all sorts of stuff. Don't reinvent, implement. And last, keep a note on your phone like I do. And every time I get a question that I get asked over and over and over, create a blog post. And when someone says to you, so what do I do? How do I change my utilities over? You go, here's the short answer, but I'm going to text you a link right now where I've addressed it in detail and put it as a blog post on your blog. So that is my little overview. Now let me go live. You'll notice that I am in my Moxi website, my Moxi site. I'm going to click on my website, which is up on the toolbar up here. And when I do that, it brings me to my website. Now you'll notice there's a bunch of stuff here on the left. There's all sorts of items that you can click on to set up your website. And the training is very easy to use. And you'll hear that from our panelists in a moment. But I'm going to blog posts. When I go to blog posts, you'll notice I've already started creating some. How do you create a post? Add new, right up here on the top. And when you open Add New, it looks like Word, where you can add text and photos and videos, very easy to use. But I want to show you 3 that I created quickly to give you an idea. So the first one is one about where I live, work, and play. I live in West Hartford, Connecticut, where there is an amazing rose garden that everyone loves to go visit. It's called Elizabeth Park. So I went and got a picture, I put some content, and at the bottom of the blog post, I put a link that in Connecticut, it's what to do in Connecticut in the summer, a great place that we send everybody to. That's my blog post. So what do? Notice the permalink, this link right up here on the top. This is the link to the blog post. So you right click on the link, you copy it, right? And then you paste it. It can be in social media, you can send it in your newsletter, you can send it out through text. The other 2 posts, I think, Matt, I have time just to show the other. I want to be mindful of time. 2 others. Here's one that I got from my brand, how to clean your home surfaces. I don't know how to do that. I went in and I clicked, and these are ones that I'm still working on, but here it is, how to clean your home surfaces, something that I got from the brand where I hang my license. Again, here's the title. I can click on it and copy the link and put it wherever I am. Last post that I want to share with you, though, all those questions that you get asked all the time about being in real estate, selling real estate, what's it like in the market, what's going on with data, those should be created. And the post right here, I created one for buyers, finding your new home. Now, I just started it. You'll notice I'm writing it. It's long. Consulting with a real estate agent, getting pre-approved, finding new homes. So I'm just starting to work on it. I'll put an image. You'll notice it says add media. I can add a photo. I can add all sorts of things here. I just don't have one here yet. But as I write it, let me go back to the post. I do want to remind you, as you write it, create the permalink, of course, gets created. Copy all of these links, put them in a Word doc, put them on a doc in your phone. So as soon as someone asks you a question about something that you talk about all the time, be able to copy and paste and send it out. So the last thing I want to share with you are some effective ideas. Explainer video cities. Now, I didn't even show you the videos, how to do a video in the blog post, because I want to be mindful of our speakers. Working with me. How do you work with me? What are local real estate questions? What is finance information? What's going on in my neighborhood? Neighborhood news, home buying, home selling, all these great ideas, restaurant, testimonials, charities, contests. I heard a great one from an agent in recently in my area. A new coffee shop opened up in the town that I actually live in, West Hartford, Connecticut. Someone's put on social media, she's giving away 100 free coffees. All she has to do is go to the barista and say the password. And guess what the password was? Her name. How great was that? So have some fun with blog posts, put the stuff out there. And last but not least, we'll give you these slides. There's lots of other great ideas on content. Work with content that you like to share, and you will have the respect and your audience will appreciate it. Matt, I am done and I'm giving it back to you.
Thank you, Amy. Great ideas, and how simple it was to basically create a blog post that's like word processing, except that it not only lives on your webpage, but can be socialized and sent out to help generate interest and maintain those relationships. Appreciate it. Okay, we've got another great panel that's going to talk about how they are using Moxi websites, and we've got plenty of time in our calendar here. Just looking ahead, please stick with us. We might go a couple minutes over, but I know you'll want to hear what these two guests have to say. So appreciate you spending a few extra minutes with us. I'd like to invite from Century 21 All Points Realty, Jody Tussing, and from Better Homes and Gardens Center Realtors, Cam Zinser, and we're going to ask them to just give us their best tip around what Moxi websites, just something that they're doing or find helpful in creating the right engagement that they want using the tool. So Jody, thanks for being with us. What can you share with our audience? Jody, don't forget to unmute your mic.
One of my favorite things actually is create a search, and when you create a search on your website, you can actually then add it as a page. So people can go ahead and look at that search. And then think about, what do you want to talk about? I love the fact everyone is saying everything is local. So one of the things I love, Connecticut has a lot of shoreline, 96 miles of shoreline. Everyone no matter where they live, they want to know about the shoreline. So I love to talk about it all the time. And you can do a search like it was shown, drawing that thing that you do in the present and on the website and everything. You can take that little pen, make the search exactly how you want it. So it might start out with a zip code, but then you turn it into whatever you want. And seasonality is a big conversation starter. So, in Connecticut, it's shoreline rentals. And you can search for rentals here on Moxi, which you could not do in Zap. And that is a big attention getter because in the shoreline, we have 1 week rentals for $5,000 a week. So the commission's not bad, and it gets people's thinking. And then you can also talk about, hey, we can also buy a house. So I just noticed when I did it, Madison, Connecticut had this really cute little house for around $200,000. Madison is one of the top zip code price ranges. And this was a seasonal house, but it gets your attention when you share that search. The different things that rise to the top are very exciting to look at. So here is an example of it. This is actually the house that I was sharing, and it's 197.9. Now, who's not going to click on that? So one of the things that you can do is you draw that little line here. Here's a pen. And then when you click on more, you can also add more information. And up here is the link. And to make it part of your website, you just write the word new in front of it or search. And what is cool is when you go to add it as a website, it says to add that word search, and it has a /. So then you just click in that link, and now it's one of the things on your website, and you can actually share that on social. So, and I love doing that kind of stuff because I personally like Twitter. So when I go in there, I'm talking to people from all over the place with all different kinds of backgrounds. And who doesn't want to know about Connecticut shoreline? So, and it depends on where you live, the seasonality, but those are some of the things I like to talk about. The link actually shows up here under more. So when you look at these different things, that more is where you're going to have the live link on your website as one of its pages, but you can also share just that page. Then when people want to really actually see a house or something, they go into Engage and they're one of your contacts.
Love it. Great idea. And it changes really what they expect from your website. It's not just a sort of brochure about you. It's a place where relevant information has been curated by you. It's interesting, it's seasonal, it's trendy, but then it also creates a sort of a good funnel in a way which it gets them involved, like you said, it gets them engaged ultimately into your database. Love that tip. Thank you for that. Cam, you also do a lot with blogging. So I know that you have, let me just move our slides here a second. You had some ideas on how to develop the blog a little bit. Share those with our audience.
Hi, everyone. So yes, I love to write blogs, and I feel like it's a great way to drive traffic to your website because we put a lot of time and effort in our websites. We really want to show that we're credible, that we want to start conversations in our websites. And also, putting these in the social media, I mean, they're an excellent way to also start that conversation. So some tips, I always say that your blog is kind of like your writing power tool, right? We're kind of scared at first to use that new power tool, but then once we jump in and we start using it, we learn how to do it. And so blog is kind of like that. So you start writing and you just kind of expand on that and you learn how to do that. One thing that I do when I start writing my blogs is I think about topics. So you want to do your research. You want to look what's trending. You want to think about what questions are you being asked by your clients. So things like that, and it could be something simple like what Amy was talking about. The beautiful picture she showed of the rose garden. So it could be simple things like things that you enjoy outdoors. In fact, I just blogged about having a picnic outside. Perfect time to be outdoors with your family in the summertime. So look for current things, research and do your research for that. And then also you want to make sure that you're writing engaging content. You don't want to go to all that trouble and your content is just, not so great. So you want to make sure that you're, along with your research, grab your reader's attention, have these titles that are trendy and fun to grab their attention. They're like, oh, I want to read that. So that's what you want to do. Make sure your titles are like that. And especially your first paragraph. That's going to be important because they may not get past that first paragraph if they feel like, oh, this is really not that great. But you want to just put something that's, hey, I love going on picnics or whatever. And what about you? And kind of grab their attention about that. Or maybe what are you planting in your garden? Things like that. Things all around the homeowner and their interest. And the last thing is just make sure that you edit your work. Make sure you're doing your best work, and then you're going to post your blog. Kind of like Amy, I'm so glad that she showed all of that, kind of the steps on how to post your blog. These are just a few little topics that I've done already, and I think I've done over 20-something blogs since we've started the website. And the last one, I kind of cut off a little bit, but it's about pets. And I mean, who doesn't love pets? I can tell you this, that pets is probably one of your number one click things in the Google searches. So, you want to talk about things that people are interested in. And, gardening. Back in the spring, that's what I did that one. It was a perfect time for that. Curb appeal, think about selling and buying, and how do you get your house ready to sell? One of the last ones that I talked about is just some things to do to get your home summer ready. So just be thinking about that, and again, it's a great way to put that in your social media and start those conversations and look, and see like, okay, I'm knowledgeable, but I'm also personable and I'm also a real person.
Cool. Great tips, good ideas. Very important for us to write quality content, make it catchy, make it attention grabbing, make it trendy. And then as Jody said, right, integrate it into the site so that it's something that people will discover, come back to, reference, and know where to find it. So Cam Zinser, Jody Tussing, thank you so much. As always, like with all of our guests, I know we could talk to you for a long time with even more tips, but we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get a little bit from everybody. So thank you, everyone. We are almost done. If you will just hang on with us about 6 more minutes, we've got 2 really important things that we need to cover with you before we wrap up today. And one of them, I think for sure you're going to want to know about, which is how do I get more learning? How do I continue to develop and grow and train on all of these products? Because even in the time we've spent together, and you've probably taken a lot of notes and more things to do, you're probably probably thinking, I wonder what else I could learn to do and what else I want to add to my day-to-day use of this amazing platform. So I'm going to quickly invite my friend Christina Carlino, who is the Director of Product and Program Development at Anywhere, to just tell us a little bit about how we can get more learning as we go forward. So Christina, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And it's nice to meet all of you and to see some familiar faces from past programs that I've worked on. So I'm here to share with you your learning journey. We have a very robust learning journey for both the broker experience as well as the agent experience. And I know there's some product champions on the call. So what you're seeing here is the broker pathway. We have a pre-launch, a launch, and then a post-launch. We have Moxi Works hours, which are an 8 bi-weekly sessions that we encourage you to attend. This gives you more additional information on how to maneuver within a specific Moxi Work product. But more importantly, we also have content called Winning with Moxi. So now that you've been able to dive into Moxi, to really go through the material, to really understand how you can maneuver it in your business, we now provide some 10 to 15 minute pieces of education that you can share with your agents, that your agents can even look at on their own to really understand how they can be successful in their business utilizing the different Moxi products. And if you go to the next screen, for those product champions that are on the call, we also have support for you with our Moxi Works hours with some best practice sessions, as well as the Winning with Moxi that can go through some additional ways to grow your business utilizing Moxi. And then the next slide is our agent pathway. Our agent pathway, we have some really great e-learnings for each of the Moxi products that are available to your brand. And whether you are in Agent Studio, Be Better University, Team ERA University, CBU Learn Center, C21 University, Next Level, it is all there for you in your respective university, as well as the Moxi Works hours too. And you may be saying, oh man, I wish I had some additional live pathways that I can actually ask questions. Well, we are opening our e-webinar registration to you. So if you would like to re-attend a live session, we have some updated content with updates that were made to our Moxi Works products, as well as the ability to have a live moderated e-webinar session for you to ask some Q&A now that you have time to maneuver. And you can find those registration links in your respective university. Some other things that you can find in your university is getting started, templates, PDFs. Somebody had asked the question about Teams. We do have a getting started template for Teams that you can go in there and understand how to maneuver with a team through our Moxi products. So I encourage you to go to your respective university, to go to the search bar and search Moxi. Some may have a learning pathway to the left or at the top arrow, but either way, you can go to the search, type in Moxi, and you will find all of the great content in each of the products. You'll be able to register for those e-webinars. Doesn't matter if you're an agent or a broker, the brokers will have a leadership pathway for that. So sky's the limit, and we look forward to seeing you on those sessions.
Thank you, Christina. What I'm so excited about is just how many ways we are supporting everybody with maximizing this platform. Short form learning, e-webinars, 15-minute pieces, hourly things every month. There is really just something for everybody to keep learning new features, refresh on things. We heard from so many of our panelists just a little tip or a trick of something you're already using really well. So make sure that you're refreshing and you're staying up to date. Obviously, new enhancements are coming out as well. All right, as we wrap up, we've got some interactivity. So let's grab our smartphones again, if we will, please. And I want you to answer a couple of questions if you have your smartphone handy, just to wrap up our session. And then don't forget at the end, we've got some recommended resources here for you. So if you remember, the last thing we talked about was one word that defines Moxi Works for you. But I've got a couple of quick surveys I'd love to know from the 400 of you who are with us on the call here right now. So what feature of Moxi Engage are you using the most, right? You can actually answer a couple of different features here, friends. You see how quickly this is updating from all of you. So you can essentially, if you need to, you can go to menti.com, menti.com and just punch in the code 4948031. You see it at the top of your screen. If you lost that, just go to menti.com and punch that in. But let's take a look at what you as a group, 76 of you so far, have voted. We've got more to come, I'm sure, so give it a few more seconds. But look at these popular tools. Neighborhood news. Oops, I put neighborhood news in there twice, so guess what? We'll have to add them together. I don't know, maybe our survey I was building it faster than I thought, but campaigns right behind neighborhood news. Look at that. And the stay in flow module, so important if you are working your sphere of influence, right? This is about the people who know and love you, trust you, work with you, want to refer you, and want to work with you again. So good stuff. We can see what some of these top tools are, and I see some people in the chat room adding in some good topics. Looks like by and far though, neighborhood news super popular, which is great to know. Campaigns, stay in flow, and of course, you know, a little bit of voting for the others as well. Nothing wrong with any of those features. Use them all. Absolutely, of course. All right, we got one more quick survey here for you. Take a look at your phone once again. And the question is, which feature of Moxi Present do you use the most, right? So now, are you doing your CMAs? Are you doing buyer presentations? Remember property review, which one of our panelists told you all about. Buyer tours, or as Amy mentioned, you can make any presentation in here. Jim also told us the same thing. So, you know, you can use Moxi Present to present any idea or any conversation. We've even saw some people mention in the chat room of just doing flyers in there, right? Absolutely. Obviously, we love to see lots of listing and CMA presentations because that's how we're going to get the inventory we need to grow. But also look at what your colleagues are doing here. Buyer presentations, 12% of you using property reviews. That's a good number. But again, increase that, increase the number of conversations. And just if you haven't tried any of these before, just give them a shot and see what happens. And now, last but not least, what I'd love to know from all of you is, what feature of MoxiWorks would you specifically like some additional training on? This is just going to give us a nudge, a little guidance as to where we might put our thinking caps on, and either make sure you know where we already have that training, right? Where we already have that and get it to some of you, socialize that, but also topics that might be of interest to you. So while you're doing this, this helps us gather some ideas as to where we can continue to provide additional learning content to you. Yeah, we'll let that stay on your phone so you can just keep using your phone, but I'm going to bring the screen back to me as we wrap up here in our learning session. First of all, a super big thank you to everybody who has spent time with us here today, learning and sharing. Oh my gosh, not only did you ask great questions in the chat room, but I saw a lot of recommendations and suggestions to each other going around. Let's give a huge round of applause to all of our presenters today, from our engagement team to our Anywhere people to our panelists who shared amazing thoughts and ideas with us. Wow, we really are so blessed that you were able to spend the time with us and certainly give us some ideas that we should jot down, review our notes, pursue one step at a time, and see what we need to add to what we already know how to do and expand what is possible with the platform. Now, as I said, we had some tips for you at the end, so I'm going to just put those on screen. If you want to get additional help at any time, don't forget, have this bookmark just in case. Go to support.moxiworks.com, fill out a ticket, look for some other content, look for training that's there, look for quick tips, FAQs, how-tos, etc. So those are, that site is definitely going to be a resource to you. Bookmark it and check it out. You know, even if you're not having a problem, you might just learn something by going through some of the content there. Of course, all of the amazing learning opportunities in the brand resource sites, the universities that Christina pointed us to. It's every month. There's always new stuff. There's no reason not to constantly be improving your ability to maximize the platform. And talk to your in-house MoxiWorks product champion, the person who is helping with the launch and keeping informed and up to date on new features and new benefits of the program. So take a quick screenshot of this if you want. Use your camera or your computer to make sure you don't forget that page. I know in the chat room, also, I believe we are going to put a link to the hub that will enable you to get to even more great content. Thank you all so much for attending. We super appreciate your participation. We know that your enthusiasm for the product is the source of you not only using it, but encouraging your peers and colleagues to use it as well. And so we hope that we've generated some value for you here today. You will be receiving an email with lots of stuff, links to the recording, additional resources and recommendations, and a survey. So please do let us know how we did so we can continue to provide great service to all of you. I'm Matthew Ferrara on behalf of all of our guests, all of our presenters, and all of you who help make these sessions so valuable. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next presentation. Have a great day, everyone.